Heyo, your friendly neighborhood quarter guy here, and yesterday Nintendo Satoru Iwata announced a few things. And I'd like to give you my thoughts on a few of them. First of all, Nintendo said they're not abandoning hardware. In fact, they're actually working on a new kind of new hardware that's going to be like non-wearable, health-related. What that entails, I have no idea. Hopefully that's not going to be the next video game console for Nintendo. Because, in all honesty, that would kind of suck. Also, next thing I want to bring up, Nintendo is delving into the smartphone market, but not as far as moving all their operations to smartphones. Hell no. But here's the thing: they said that the team that's going to be in charge of smartphone development is not going to be limited. That means it's possible that they can make games for the smartphone, use Nintendo's characters in smartphone apps. Hopefully they'll be able to use the smartphone market in a way that drives their hardware sales, because, let's face it, we all know that the Wii U is sadly doing not so well in sales. Hopefully the games that are coming out this year will help drive sales, because if Smash Brothers doesn't help the Wii U sell, then I don't know what will. Speaking of the Wii U, DS games are going to be coming to Virtual Console. Yeah. Now, as much as I like the idea of this, I have to question one thing. Around like, about half a year ago, Nintendo said they were going to be putting Game Boy Advance games on Virtual Console. Where are they? I'm serious. No, I'm serious. Where are the Game Boy Advance games? I mean, there are a lot of Game Boy Advance games that I would love to see on Virtual Console. Why haven't there been any released yet? Come on, Nintendo, explain! As far as what I think could benefit Nintendo, Iwata mentioned that in a statement that may or may have not been mistranslated. It's like, their approach to marketing for children has not been enough. So here's a thought. Would it be too hard for Nintendo to make a good M-rated game with their normal level of quality? Because, let's face it, it's like nearly all of Nintendo's games are either E-rated or T-rated or E10+. And in all honesty, that might be contributing to the view that some people have that Nintendo is for kids. So what better way to debunk that than with a game that is targeted for the hardcore crowd? I think it would be a good idea for Nintendo to make a good first-person shooter. That's the key word. A first-person shooter that carries Nintendo's standard of quality. Not in a current IP, of course. Not a long-standing franchise. I mean, nobody wants to see Mario with a gun. Nobody. That being said, a new franchise that carries an M rating might be helpful in bringing in some of the hardcore crowd. Also, I cannot stress this enough, there are a lot of franchises that Nintendo needs to revisit. I can think of a few off the top of my head. Star Fox, F-Zero, Star Tropics, fucking Star Tropics! I mean, since the NES, Star Tropics is a cult classic series, and I would love to see it make a comeback. Because, hey, that worked for Kid Icarus on the 3DS. Anyways, I've been rambling long enough. On to user questions. First question comes from Lennon-Louise-0907. He asks, are you planning to make a top 10 video game franchises list? At some point, I might. Nothing currently in the works right now, but yeah, I would like to do that at some point. But I would probably try to restrict it to third-party franchises. Otherwise, almost all of the entries on the list would be Nintendo. Because, hey, I grew up with Nintendo. It's it's a system I play most often, despite the fact that I own all 3 7th generation consoles. I've owned almost every Nintendo system in at least one form or another. But I would like to... But, if I make a top 10 franchises list, I'd probably restrict it to third-party because... mainly so that I don't sound like a Nintendo fanboy. Next question comes from FluttershyGamer123, who asks, did you ever watch Power Rangers? That was a long time ago. Yeah, back when I was a kid. I used to watch the Power Rangers quite a bit. Up through Power Rangers Zeo it was. I didn't really pay attention to anything after that. That being said, when I was young, I did enjoy the Power Rangers, to an extent. I did enjoy the action. Though nowadays, I don't find myself returning to watching the Power Rangers. But hey, that's just me. Next question comes from Smash Brothers 2009, who asks, who's your favorite stand user in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure aside from Jotaro and Dio? The only familiarity I really have with the series that much is the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, the PlayStation game. That being said, I have a thing for card users and gamblers, so I'd have to go with Darby, or DRB, or however the hell you pronounce it. I mean, I think he's delightfully weird, and I have to admit, I've seen some cutscenes, and he plays a mean game of poker, to be honest. And the idea of turning his enemies into poker chips, I kind of find that pretty funny. Also, well, I've talked about one of the villains, so as far as the heroes go, I'd have to go with... I'd have to say Joseph Joestar. Jotaro's father? I mean, no, his grandfather. Sorry. I kind of like the way he uses his stand, Hermit Purple. It's pretty badass. He's a badass old guy. Something I have a lot of respect for. Julius Belmont. So yeah, those are the my 2 other favorite stand users. Next question comes from Shadow Zemnis 13. Oh, by the way, Shadow Zemnis, if Zemnis is in your username, why do you have Kuja as your icon? Anyway, he asks, what is your opinion on Bravely Default? Well, from what I've played of the demo so far, I think it's shaping up to be really great. I mean, it really takes a look, really harkens back to the glory days of Final Fantasy. You know, like specifically, it feels a lot like Final Fantasy V in its job class system, but like the earlier Final Fantasies in its turn-based combat. Actually, it actually improves on that formula. I really like how the Brave and Default system works. How by defending you can store up extra turns to use later. I have a feeling that's going to be factoring pretty heavily in the later parts of the game. But I'm really loving what I'm playing so far in the demo. It may turn out well. It may well turn out to be one of my favorite games of 2014. Final question comes from Matthew Strittmatter, who asks, have you ever thought about making a cooking segment like Q Can Cook or The Kitchen? Of course not. What do you think I look like, Gordon fucking Ramsay?